Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome, crafty friends, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I do have a project share for another altered composition notebook. If you are new to my channel, you probably will find that you will see lots of altered composition notebooks. They're one of my favorite things to create, partly because I get to play with both paper and lace, which makes me happy. And that usually for me, if I only have a little bit of time in my craft room, they're a little bit quicker of a project for me to finish up. And a while ago, I did create a composition notebook in a swap, and I used this paper collection, which was Stamperia, the Wonderland paper collection. I did have 2 paper pads of this. And when I was in the swap with Gisela of Lavish Laces, at that time I decided to go ahead and cut up more pieces to make more notebooks to make it go faster when I had some crafting time and I needed a quick project. And so this is the last one of the batch that I'm going to create using that paper collection. And I do have to say, I love how this one turned out. It's beautiful. It kind of has that like minty green color and pink, and it matched that paper collection perfectly. I'll hold it up close so you guys can kind of just check out the different layers of the paper and the laces and the trims. And the spine. And the back side I did leave pretty plain on this one. And again, I do enjoy adding paper onto the inside. This one I do have a pocket. I don't have anything in the pocket, but I do like to include pockets on the insides of my notebooks. I kind of feel like when I gift them to people that they can stick like a bookmark, or they can stick receipts or little tinier notes that they need to keep track of. So I always try and include some sort of pocket on the inside if I have enough paper left. And then on this one, I will mention that, I use these 2 pieces are from that Wonderland paper collection, but this Believe You Can and this little piece came from a different Stamperia paper collection. I think it came from the Dream pad, and I just had those left over, so I just used them there because I felt like I needed a little bit of an embellishment. I have this beautiful little like flower trim, and this came from Kim at Angel Dreams Crafts. Kim on Etsy. I was on her design team, and this was like a remnant piece that I had left over. I will hold it up close so you guys can look at that. And then also on the edge of the pocket, you can see this kind of white and pink rickrack trim. That is a vintage rickrack trim that I picked up at the thrift store, and I've had it in my stash for a while. And I have quite a bit more of it, I'm happy to say. And so when you look at the actual cover, there's a lot going on. I have some more trim that came from Kim's shop, and I love this trim. It's like a double layered tulle trim with the little Swiss dots on it. Very fun trim. I have some flat back pearl trim, and I did get that in some Happy Mail. And I'm not quite sure. I think maybe Tammy sent that one to me. I'm not 100% sure, but thank you to whoever sent that to me. It was beautiful trim, flat back pearl trim. You can see in the background I have several layers of the paper collection, and then I also cut out some squares and rectangles. The paper collection did have some squares in it with different images on it, and so that's what this little piece came from. The rest are just paper scraps, and I did layer it on cardstock, and you can kind of see I just have the 3 different layers and then the big piece behind it. On top, at the top, besides the flat back pearl trim, I have this fun little trim right here that came from Hobby Lobby, like on a spool. And then I went ahead and added flat back pearls. Those were also a Hobby Lobby purchase. And let's see, on the side, which right here, you can see some pearls sticking out right here. And I'm going to flip it over because this was a trim that also came from Hobby Lobby. And it's like one of those wire trims, but it had the pearls on the side of it already attached. And I always like to put something over my spine, some sort of trim or material. And so I used that this time, and I love how that turned out. I do have this trim in a couple different colors, so I'm probably going to use that a little bit more often on my composition notebooks for going over my spine. I also used a little bit of that rickrack trim just down the center of the spine. So back to the front again, I do have this pink rosette trim. Again, that was from Hobby Lobby. It actually was like 3 wide, and then I just cut off the 1 layer just to use that. At the bottom, there's flat back pearl trim, and then at the very bottom, you can see I have 2 different layers here. I have this pink dangle trim, and then this like fringe dangle trim. This layered trim right here, this pink one, I actually found at a thrift store. So I was really excited about that one, and it was perfect for this project. I've been hoarding it for a little while because I've just never seen it anywhere else. And then this fun fringe trim I got from Kim's shop again. Kim's my crafty friend, and she owns Angel Dreams Crafts Kim on Etsy. And she had this trim a long time ago in her shop, and I've been slowly using it. I'm almost down to the very end of it, but I do love that trim. And so I use that on the bottom just because I wanted a little bit more of a fringe showing. And then the last little bits to show you on the layout, I did add a wood piece that I kind of painted. It was kind of a grungy pink chalk paint, white with a little bit of pink over it. And it turned out a little grungier than I wanted, but I think it still works. And then up here I had this rosette, and it's part of a bigger trim again that came off of a spool trim that I picked up at Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And then behind it you can see I have these little crystals sprays. Those came from Julie's shop, and she's Craft Supply for You. And I think she's .net, I think. And then behind that, I have another fun little trim that I cut up from Kim's shop. That I cut up, those 3 little pieces. I like that trim also. I'm kind of stingy with that trim, so I don't use it very often. But I thought it was perfect. It kind of made it look like leaves, but in shabby colors. I just wanted to thank everybody again so much for watching. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do love reading everybody's comments. And of course, I will leave links for any of the stores I mentioned, and I'll also leave links for some of my other composition notebooks in case you are interested in seeing a few more. Of course, I'd love to have you watch them. So again, everybody, I do hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting.